functions and all of that. But eventually the pressure gets to a point that it's got to go somewhere. Okay, let's see if I can get to this uh, quickly enough. If I remember where I put it, okay, uh, which is not there, is not where I put it. That's for, oh, yes, it is there. That is where I put it. All right, and so check this out. Come on, pull on up here. All right, so this is kind of nifty. When we look at this skull right here, and what we're looking at, if you'll look at all of these little purple spots, and we see all these little purpling areas around the skull, and as I rotate it around, we can see that there's even more. Right, we've got even more here on the sides. We've got more even on the back, all the way back in here. All right, so what these are, all of these are little holes. They're little holes where either nerves, vessels, or arteries actually pass through the skull. Okay, so that's where either a vessel, nerve, or an artery, or a combination of those pass through. And in these areas is where, if the pressure gets to a certain point, that we can start to see what's inside of that cranial vault start to blow out these openings. Right now, you would hope that what blows out of these openings is cerebral spinal fluid, maybe blood, but it could be the brain itself. It could be the brain itself. And you think, well, that hole's not big enough for the brain to get through. No, but how to remember to eat might make it through there. How to remember, your mama's name might make it through that hole. So it doesn't mean the whole brain goes through the hole. It just means that certain portions of it start to blow out, right? And obviously, if we look underneath the skull, we see that there are more as a whole, where we can see that these actually blow out. And we got this big guy right here, this big guy. So that is where the cord actually is coming up, and we'll see a picture of that here in a minute, but the cord is coming up, and the brain stem is actually sitting right there. So that is where basically the cord is plugging into the brain stem. And so that's obviously a pretty large opening right there. And that is also a very common place that as we increase the pressure, that we can start seeing some of that come out. And so when you think about that, and if you think about that and you're thinking about some of these soft spots, let's also think about some of the injuries, or some of the signs, I should say, some of the signs that we look for as we're assessing some of our head injury patients. And what you kind of start to see is, if we talk about some of those signs where we refer to as raccoon eyes or battle sign, right? So raccoon eyes is purpling right here around the orbits, and then the battle sign is purpling back here behind the ear. And we call those, it's a sign of a basilar skull fracture. Well, where's the basilar skull? We just looked at this view. Okay, we looked at this view, and so the basilar skull is all right along in that area right there. And I'm going to flip it over, and it'll label it for you, or it will on the other view. All right, so we'll just look at it through here at the basilar skull. Let me switch to the other, my little pointer, so those of you that are looking at that part can see. There we are. All right, so our basilar skull, so we see this is the internal base per se. And so our basilar skull is in these areas right here. So we see the internal cranial base is over here, and it actually crosses right through here where we're highlighting. It'll come right across through this area right here. So if you'll think about that, and we look at the way that this skull is sitting, go away. All right, so if it does that, I'm going to rotate back sideways. So here, if it comes out this base, this is where we'll see the purpling back behind the ears. And then if it comes out this mid base right here in this area, this is where we start seeing the purpling around the orbits of the eyes. Right. So again, these are where we're getting stuff coming out. Typically what's coming out there is blood. And so there's bleeding. So it could mean that they've cut an artery or a vessel, but it could mean that they've actually cracked this cranial vault. And now what we're seeing is we're seeing kind of blood and a little cerebrospinal fluid seep into those areas. So that is another good thing that we certainly want to look for. All right. So if we think about that, and let's go back now to our treatment screen, okay? And we think about, well, what can I do? All right, what can I do? So obviously I like to treat this nausea problem, right? We certainly don't want that. But let's just look at some of the treatments, and we think about, well, where can we fit in? Because a lot of times there's not a whole lot we can do for some of this, but then I'll show you something that's not necessarily up here that we can do. All right, so obviously we're not going to do a craniotomy, which is remove part of the skull to ease the swelling. We're not going to do that. Drain to reduce pressure is actually being tested in EMS. Some of you may have heard some of the stories, and I actually got asked this question. It's like, are they seriously looking